Well, it's Black History Month, which here at the Parish Library, in particular the Hammond Library, where we are now, Library Director Barry Bradford has a lot in store for us, including Thursday night at the movies here.
We are very excited to be offering a program called Created Equal. It consists of four programs in which they're based on documentaries, four different documentaries that outline the history of the civil rights struggle in the African American community from before the Civil War until the 1960s. And that's on Thursday nights here at the Hammond branch.
And while guys like us could certainly use a refresher course, the younger generation hasn't heard all of these things.
That's true. Growing up, I learned a lot of history from my family. My father got me interested in history, but to be honest, I didn't get the African American side of American history until I got into college. So it is something that many times we need a refresher or need to be exposed to these things, because African American history is American history.
Tell us about these documentaries.
Well, the first one is called The Abolitionists. It's all of them are excellent documentaries. This one talks about the abolitionist movement before the Civil War to abolish slavery and all of the politics that go along with it. Sort of a huge infighting in the government. The movie Lincoln, for instance, is about the struggle to pass the 13th Amendment, abolishing slavery. The second documentary is called Slavery by Another Name. That documentary deals with Jim Crow era, in which in certain parts of the South, African Americans were convicted of petty crimes and kept in penitentiary for over a year sometimes, and then they were leased out to companies to work. So it was kind of slave labor, really. They were kept in peonage, is what it was called. And so that went on for many decades after the Civil War. The third one is called The Loving Story. That's a documentary about a couple whose last name was Loving in Virginia in the 1950s. They were arrested because they were a biracial couple. He was white and she was black. And that was the reason they were arrested.
Because it was illegal.
It was illegal. It was illegal in Virginia and in southern states in general for a white man, a black woman, a white woman, and a black man to be married, or to be in a relationship, really, I guess. So they took their fight all the way to the Supreme Court and won. And the Supreme Court struck down the Virginia law denying that right to people. And that's kind of interesting, because today we're dealing with the right to marry, same issues 50 years later, 60 years later almost. So it has a lot of resonance for us today. And then the final one is called The Freedom Riders. It's a PBS documentary that maybe people have seen on TV. It deals with the struggle for civil rights in the South that was carried on with people from SNCC and CORE, which were two African American student organizations struggling for civil rights. They rode buses through the South to challenge the segregation laws. It's a very, very good documentary.
So all of these movies will be shown here at the Hammond Library?
That's right. On Wednesdays, each Wednesday in February, we will show the entire movie starting at 5 o'clock, the entire documentary here at the Hammond branch. The whole documentary will be shown on Wednesdays at 5 o'clock. And then Thursday, we will have the program, which Dr. Roberts, who is our scholar from LSU, he will be leading a program about that particular time period that the documentary covers. We'll see snippets from the documentary, we'll have a discussion time. And so, but I want to make clear that you don't have to have seen the documentary to take part in the program. And it's free, open to the public, and we just would like everybody to come.
Well, again, it's a free, convenient way that you can learn fascinating history.
Absolutely. The library, everything we do is free for the public. We don't charge for anyone to participate in any of these activities, because your tax dollars have already paid for it. So it's a great bang for your buck if you think about it.
Well, Barry, just like the Confederacy and the United States, Tangipahoa House sometimes is divided north and south, and I'm sure there's some people in Ponchatoula or Amite asking what's going to be happening this month at our libraries.
Well, of course, we've got obviously all our children's programs going on and teen programs, but we also have book clubs for adults. We have a sewing circle in Ponchatoula. We have a soul food program that's going to be going on in Kentwood this month. That's something they developed themselves, the local lady who creates soul food for people to taste. It's really a cool program, part of our African American Heritage Celebration. There's so many things. LaRondra's got programs going on related to the school children out there, the elementary school right next door. So in Independence, we've got something going on for everybody at every branch, and we just encourage people to come and take advantage of the free public library.